Hi everyone, today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2019. My name is Brian McInerney and I'm the hydrologist here at the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City, Utah. We've got a winter storm on the way and it's going to be a good one. So here are the winds at roughly about 25,000 feet. This is actually the GFS model, kind of enlightened to give you a better view. If you look at that northwest flow coming across the Pacific, it's right over the high that's oscillated out over the Pacific, leaving the door open for a lot of energy coming in. This storm is going to be cold. It's going to be out of the northwest, and it's going to produce some pretty good snow amounts. So let's take a look at what we have. Up in the Logan Mountains, we'll start with. We're expected to have roughly about 14 to 20 inches of snow with this storm, with about an inch to an inch and a half of water. It's going to start Wednesday morning, and it's going to end Thursday evening. When we talk about the greatest snow intensities, we're looking at roughly Wednesday afternoon through the evening hours, with peak snowfall rates about an inch to 2 inches per hour. It's going to be all the way down to the valley floor, meaning the snow. And the snow density trends are going to be decreasing. It's going to start off with some heavy snow, roughly 12%. And then it's going to decrease by about 7%. And with this, we're going to have strong ridgetop winds at about 25 to 35 miles per hour, sustained at about 9,000 feet. And then as the storm progresses, that's going to pump up to about 35 to 45 miles with gusts 60 plus at the higher exposed ridge lines throughout the rest of this briefing. So anticipate winds out of the northwest. And some pretty good sustained winds as you go. So when we drop down into the Powder Mountain Snow Basin area in the northern mountains, what we're looking at are snow totals at 16 to 22 inches for this event. Some of the events that favor northwest flow in this valley will get maybe a little bit more, but that's the range we're thinking of right now. With snow water equivalent at about an inch to an inch and a half, it's going to start Wednesday morning. It's going to end Thursday evening. And then when you look at the greatest snow intensity, again, roughly Wednesday evening is when we're going to see about an inch to 2 inches accumulation per hour during that time. It's going to be cold enough, so it's going to go down to the valley floor. We're not going to see rain with this, and the snow density trends, again, are going to be decreasing. So this area can expect about 12% to start with density, and then drop off to about 7% as the storm moves through. Same thing with the winds in this area. Northwest flow with winds at about 30 35 miles an hour at 9,000 feet, gusting to 60 miles an hour and higher at those exposed ridges. So think of wind loading off of some storm that comes with northwest flow. Now we'll switch around to the central Wasatch, and this will be the front side. This is Alta, Snowbird, Brighton, Solitude. And what you see here is 18 to 24 inches expected. These areas do quite well in northwest flow with the accumulation and the orientation of the Wasatch Mountains. Snow water equivalent, a little bit higher, 1.2 inches to 1.7 inches. It's going to start Wednesday morning and Thursday evening. And then we're going to see the greatest snow intensity rates Wednesday evening at about 2 inches per hour, with the snow density trends decreasing from 12% to 6%. Again, these northwest flow winds at those high ridge tops can anticipate peaks 60 to 70 miles an hour at those exposed ridge lines throughout this area. So now we'll head over to the backside, and this side with Park City and Sundance and a little bit of the canyons. The canyons tend to do better with northwest flow in this, but less flow because they're going to get some shadowing as with the orientation of 10 to 16 inches of snow with 0.85 to 1.25 inches of water. Start about the same time, Wednesday morning and Thursday afternoon, with the greatest snow intensity is Wednesday evening at an inch to 2 inches per hour, and the very same with the decreasing snow density trends. But if you do have areas that are favored with west-northwest flow, we can see some pretty good wind loading with those gusts. Probably in this area will be somewhere around 35 to 45, with some of those higher peaks receiving 60 miles an hour or higher out of the northwest. So kind of be prepared for loading in that area. So now we'll switch over to the western Uintas. And what we're talking about really is out where the Park City Powder Cats have their operations up Weber Canyon. With the snow totals about 14 to 20 inches, an inch to an inch and a half of water. It's going to start late morning, as this is a little bit farther east, and it's going to end Thursday evening late. If we look at the greatest snow intensity, it's going to be Wednesday night, inch and a half to 2 inches per hour, with those same snow density trends decreasing at 14% to start with, dropping down to 7%, and also expect those really high winds that, in this area, 60, 70 miles an hour out of the northwest. Look for wind loading in those areas with sustained winds once this storm gets rolling at about 35 to 45 miles an hour out of that same direction. So overall, a pretty good storm, and it's going to wind load, and it's going to change the avalanche conditions. So be aware. If I can get you to go to the Utah Avalanche Center's page, they have all sorts of excellent information. Their forecasting is world class, and that's where you should go if you're going into the backcountry to gain some knowledge to keep you alive. You can always find us at weather.gov/SLC. You can find us on Twitter and on Facebook. Again, my name is Brian McInerney. Glenn Merrill did a lot of the meteorology on this event, so the two of us together kind of put these out, and I hope you have a good day tomorrow, and we'll go from there until the next one. See ya.